Hit it.
Okay.
Front or back? Oh, okay. I'm just trying to see.
Both work, you know. Let's
Man
see.
over to some tongue.
Oh, I'm not seeing it on Facebook. Let's see. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay. Screens. So which screen I look at? This one here.
This one.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're up and running. 1, 2, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. My mic sounds nice. Check 1. Bow, 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 bow.
Not the paper. Yeah.
Right. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show where we talk about everything under the sun. Is there one? Is there one? Nothing but fun. We hope that you are staying cool because it's hot everywhere. Y'all keep on playing. It's hot everywhere. This is a dress rehearsal. So y'all better get y'all life together.
Or an undress rehearsal because today is National Nude Day.
He can't even let me do my part. He can't
sorry.
He can't even let me do my part. He can't let me do my part
before we get out. Lord.
Well, let's jump right
in. Y'all in the same room. My.
But before we get started, I do have a quick question for the both of you. Where were you guys yesterday at 3 p.m.? What is this? Mountain time?
Pacific.
Pacific time. 3 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Where were you guys?
Where were we?
Right here.
I was right
here.
5 p.m. Pacific time. I was outside trying to figure out why my battery wasn't working.
I was just making sure y'all didn't do nothing to Donald Trump. I just want to take y'all off the table for make sure it wasn't y'all. Okay, all right. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, all right. Bam.
I was over here.
Okay, Angel, you was by.
I was right.
Cats. Thunder, 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 cats. Yeah, what happened right here? Because he put the Thundercats on the screen. Thundercats are on the move.
I almost wore that shirt, but it had long sleeves.
Hear the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are loose.
That's lying on now.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite cartoon of all times.
Yeah.
Of all times. Thundercats put me to bed.
Come on, Thundercats.
They do. I love them. They're my best friends. My best friends. Today is National Nudist Day. Take it off. You gonna keep your clothes on?
Where the music, Angel? What that music you had? Oh no, actually, what I see people doing these days, they do this one and they go. But I ain't doing that to this shirt.
I like this shirt because
it's bling. I love this shirt.
Cost money.
It's sequins.
It's that premium cotton.
Yes, it is. Oh,
that premium cotton.
Wow.
National Nudist Day. I was looking in my research, and today is a day that's to be celebrated, July 14th, and they describe it as people removing all articles of clothing on this day, right? It started off as it was perceived as perversion, but it really celebrates the freedom and aesthetics of the human body. There's no entire movement devoted to this concept. And this started in New Zealand. But what I love the most about this, and let me introduce you all before I jump into this. That is the phenomenal, that lady right there, the bronze, the sun-kissed, honeysuckle, sugar smacks right there. That's Angel Simmons. You can find her at angelsimmons.com. She has some books. She's kind of talented or whatever. She's an amazing artist. She's back on the pageantry scene. I cannot wait to see what happens with that. I'm excited for you. I'll be low key, I'll be low key keeping up. I fly under the radar, low key keep up. I love it, but congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, girl. You're welcome. You have any pageants scheduled already, or what we doing?
Uh, the
Uh-oh.
Okay.
ultimate pageant system is taking place this November in Orlando, Florida, where I'll be
Okay.
flying out. I am the new
No,
national
you will be
coordinator.
flued out.
Flute.
You're gonna be flued out.
Flute.
No, I'm flying out.
That means she
I
going
am the
first
new
class.
national coordinator for the ultimate pageant system. So I will be working with the reigning queens as well as the incoming delegates throughout their journey and working with the board and the owners. So it's going to be a lot of moving parts. But this is their third year, technically. So they are branching out with a junior ultimate pageant as well next year. Um, so they're going to be bringing in some youth for 2025. 2025 is going to be in New Orleans, I was told. So
Oh, nice.
we'll see. It's a lot of moving parts. I kind of jumped head first into this new system, and I'm excited to see uh, where it takes me.
Mm.
That's dope. That's dope. I'm excited to see where it takes you to. I can't wait to see it. Now, this young tender that I have the pleasure of sitting next to, this is not AI.
No,
This
it's
is not.
not.
This is look
Let me count your fingers.
live and in living color. The one and only LeAnzar Stockley. You can find him at leanzarstockley.com. He's kind of a author as well, on tour, doing retreats and events, circles apps, healing souls, healing minds.
Oh, he ready today.
No,
Come
I
on.
had to still go reach for him. Love and mind. That's my.
You have a loving mind, or you have
love
love
and
in
mind.
love and mind. So that's your new title.
That's my
Your
new.
new.
Have you heard Peter Collins' song "Love and Mind"?
I
That's
have
my new
not.
theme.
I know you
music.
love Peter
I
Collins.
love Peter. I love Peter Collins. Not Peter. There's another Peter Collins. I'm talking about the one that's the shade of us.
There's another Peter Collins. That's
There's
Make
another
it
shade.
plain.
Might be an actor though. I don't.
Oh, okay.
But he has a song called "Love and Mind," and it just grabs me.
Grabs you.
Mm-hmm. It's my thing. If I ever had a what do you call it? If I had to have a TV show or something, that would be the opening theme song.
Love and mind. So you can check out both of these beauties at their respective. He done pulled up this other man. Let me see. Oh, I see.
Not that Peter Collins.
Well, he kind
Not
of
the
looked like
record-
he might be
Not the record producer though.
one of the. He might be a cousin though,
Yeah,
because he's got a little. Okay, we bet.
But this Peter Collins. Yeah.
Make sure you guys check out both of these beauties. Get their books. Get their books. Get their books. They ain't just writing these books for nothing, just to stay on the shelf. These books are full of insight, and information. Help yourself, and if you can't help yourself, help somebody else. Get their books. I don't have a book. I'm just a little
Yeah.
mediator, narrator, whoever, or
Yes.
so look, I hear you. I hear you. I wanted to when I was thinking about
Oh. That was my favorite. Sorry, y'all. We got multiple screens in the studio.
there's multiple screens, multiple microphones, headphones, beats, lights, cameras, and actions.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was thinking though, when I was thinking about Nudist Day, it's so much to that. And I definitely applaud those who are comfortable in the skin that they're in and they're able to do that. And go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead.
No, because this your jam. I already know. Ladies and gentlemen, LeAnzar Stockley.
She was saying comfortable in the skin that we're in. And I raised my hand, but then I had to rethink what I was saying. It's like, because I'm actually not that comfortable, but I'm courageous.
Yeah,
I still
we touched on that on the last show. We sure
I just
did.
said her a minute ago. I was just like, well, I'm gonna take off my shirt, but then I was like, and everybody see all my surgical scars, and so I still have the complexes, and I'm heavier than I've ever been in my life.
Because he still weighed 125 pounds.
Wet.
Wet, not wet. But yeah. But I do feel liberated, my friend, when I'm in the buff, as they would say. Wish I was buff, but when I'm in the buff, I definitely feel liberated.
Nudists believe that the human body is at its most beautiful when it's completely in its natural form. This is debatable and frowned upon. Like it or not, nudists encourage others to free themselves from the confinements of their clothing. The health benefits of going nude are undeniable. Many studies prove that walking barefoot potentially decreases the risk of Alzheimer's. The neurons in the brain are stimulated. The skin is exposed to sunlight, and hence the body stores higher levels of vitamin D. Fitted clothing restricts circulation, which is another reason to go without it. Mess up your PhD, not your PhD, your pH balance, ladies and sirs, and sirs. So when I read this, I knew this, that's free. You're free, you're exposed, you're doing what you want to do, and you kind of just touched on a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about today was liberation. You're pushing all these buttons.
Trying to give us a bigger screen.
Hit that right there. Why I keep going back out?
That one.
The when you go plus, it goes up, right?
That make us.
Or when you open it more.
There we go. There we go, my friend.
I'm more than just a pretty face.
She is.
Ow.
She is.
Mm-hmm. So liberation, and the journey and becoming free and liberated, and then it's beyond obviously just being in the nude, but mentally liberated, spiritually liberated, emotionally liberated. And even with this past month, Juneteenth, is Liberation Day for our folks. And the 4th of July is another cookout day. But liberation is big. It's big, it's big, it's big. And I wanted to know what are some of the ways that you guys journey into being liberated or into your liberation, or what's the process, or what's the thought process for you on that? Because it's tough.
It is. It actually is. I think, and I'm glad you brought that up too. Thanks. Because it's like, that's what I think that our whole life is about, freedom. To some degree, and I think that's what everybody wants. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's like we want to be ourselves, right? You got that song "Stupid Deep" that said, "What if who I hope to be was always me?" And it makes me wonder how many of us are walking around not being us because we're not free from the judgment of others. We're not free from, whatever the criticisms and all those other things, and then it becomes internal too. So it's like we're not even free from our own sense of judging ourselves, or this, that, and the other. And it just causes a lot of sickness to me. Like, it causes a lot of suppression, a lot of pain, a lot of issues. And so I think all of us have that desire to really be ourselves. And what comes along with being able to truly be ourselves is that liberty and that freedom that I think is somewhat of that stress-free in some sense, kind of like the stress-free life. But I think because we're so worried about what's going to be said.
Right.
And then we start living under the conformity of that judgment, whether it's suppressed or however you want to say, instead of actually being able to live truly free. And I see people saying, I'm free. And it don't seem like it to me for some people. Right. They're saying it, and it comes off in this way that's just kind of like, you want to be. Do you know what I mean? But for me, even in the mind, to be free in the mind, I was thinking about some of that stuff this week. Some of the thoughts that kind of come that even I want to be free from. But I'm learning how to reframe that, because I realized, we have like 60,000 thoughts a day, approximately about 60,000 thoughts a day. Most of those conversations that these thoughts are having, you ain't even in. You ain't even a part of, but they creep up every once in a while, and then it becomes a thing that we get hyper fixed on it and then get stuck, or then get unfree, or start to, let you have one bad thought about yourself, and then now you think you don't love yourself, or you think you don't whatever. But I think that's a really good one. I think we're all trying to find our liberty, trying to really truly find our freedom, which I guess we'll get into, but it comes with a responsibility. But I think that greatest way of experiencing it is realizing that we have a mandate to be who we were designed to be. And when we align with that design, then freedom has its chance. Liberty has its chance.
I like the definition that I looked up earlier about liberation, just to kind of see what it says in the dictionary, like extensively. And it says that liberation is a state of freedom that can feel like a lack of worry, concern, or heaviness.
Mm.
A lack of worry, a lack of heaviness. That's deep to me. Um, because how do we live without those things, right? Because those things have become so familiar. And to have those things almost feels like, I'm sorry, to not have those things almost feels like our life is chaotic, right? Because it's often hard to embrace peace, right? It's often hard to embrace calmness for people. It's often hard to obviously embrace liberation because we're used to the hustle and the bustle and the chitter and the chatter and what we look like in the eyes of others, of our parents or our aunts and uncles or church or the work, the workplace or whatever the case may be. So to be able to live with a lack of worry, I feel like at this point in my life, that might be the ultimate goal for me.
Mm.
Brandon, I see you. The good bishop, the good bishop, the good bishop, loving me for the skin I'm in. Absolutely. Why not? Why not? Angel, what are your thoughts?
I think my process of liberation 10 years ago started in embracing the word no
Mm-hmm.
as a complete sentence, as a um, position of power, or taking my authority back in some kind of way. And that started really about 10 years ago. Being able to say no, being comfortable or uncomfortable and saying it anyway, but being courageous, I'll take your word, being courageous enough to say no, especially to faces and people who are so used to hearing yes for me all the
Right,
time for everything.
right.
And
Used to hear it a lot, probably, huh?
turning, huh? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and overly so. Like I really was retraining my mind so much to where if it was a maybe, it's a no. We're just gonna go with no. If I got to think twice about it, it's a no.
Right,
If
right.
there's any hesitation, no, no, let's not do that because I know that hesitation is going to turn it into a yes in somebody else's favor, for somebody else's
Or
benefit,
guilt, right?
for
A form of
somebody
guilt,
else's comfort, for somebody else's comfort, or yeah, to lighten that guilt off of me from not being accommodating, but being accommodating
right?
all the time. um Even if I was doing it and disgruntled, I was still being accommodating. And I think in the most recent year or two, or three, I guess it's really since the pandemic.
Right.
I'm learning how to say yes only to what I want,
Mm.
or only to what is not necessarily beneficial, but what is helpful.
Aligned.
What is most aligned to what I need, what will be healthy for me. Learning how to say yes to those things. Today it was yes to stopping for gas instead of waiting, 2 days from now when I'm panicking and looking at the tank. Let's stop right now. It's an inconvenience, I'm running home to do this podcast, but I'm gonna stop and get some gas. I'm also gonna stop and get these churros because I want these churros. So yes, I'm gonna stop and do that. Yes, I had cake yesterday, but I'm gonna have churros today. And I'm gonna just eat one. I'm gonna eat the rest tomorrow. But what do I say yes to? Another big yes today was driving an hour to go see my friend, and floating around in the pool for 2-3 hours. My legs is white as snow, but but that was yes to self-care. That was yes to quality time with my friend. Yes, an hour away, but I'm going, hence needing gas on the way back. I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's Sunday traffic, but this is important. This is something that aligns to what I need right now. What aligns to what we need right now is friends and time spent. Okay, let's do that. So, what can I say yes to that's healthy for me? Those are the
Mm.
things that I'm expanding into now. So I've had a decade of no and some hell no's, and now it's okay. I can do that. Yes, I can get on the plane. Yes, I will take a new position. Yes, I'll accept this title. Yes, I will relocate my job. Just did that. Yes, I will manage these new staff, new kids, new build. Yes. Um, this is the new process in liberation is
Mm,
learning where to say yes and how healthy that is for me.
mm. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. I think that, when you said that, it just reminded me that's how I actually teach boundaries. And I'm doing air quotes with boundaries, you all, not because it's a bad word, but I don't usually use it personally for myself. But it's
That's a
same
therapist
concept.
word.
Yeah, yeah. It's like so, but it's the same concept of let your yes be yes and let your no be no. And I think that when that, like you're saying, like when we can find that proper harmony, the proper balance of that, that is liberation. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're really able to kind of show up off. It's also authenticity, which is again liberation. But it's like it's really that ability to be able to be authentically who we are, showing up as ourselves. And now when I say, like you said, when I say yes to you, it doesn't have to have any kind of backwards grudge to it. It doesn't have to have any kind, but it's really aligned with what my deepest value is, what my core is. Yeah. Hmm.
There is another something I read up on, and it's described a form of liberation being walking into versus walking away from your fear. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
That that was my same face I had
Yeah.
when I read it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's good.
mm.
Because you got to.
You have to.
You have to.
Do you know the alternative? What's the alternative?
More than once,
Yeah.
several times on this life journey, right?
Yeah.
Several times.
Oh, that's good.
And right, what's the alternative?
The alternative would be lack of freedom, actually,
Mm-hmm.
because then now you're guided by all of the. That's why I was saying with the even with the the different complexes that you have, and oh, I'm afraid this, whatever. But actually looking at that fear, facing your head on and saying what you're seeing, even and Angel even said this a minute ago. She said saying no, either being comfortable to say it or uncomfortable, or the yes, being comfortable or uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
When I know that, hey, I'm actually faced with a fear and I'm going to make an active reach beyond that fear.
Mm-hmm.
And when you finally do it, there is a liberty that comes. It's just kind of like, I know that I really got me,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not going to be governed by outside external power, external things. I'm going to be governed by myself within.
Mm-hmm.
And so having to do that with we think sometimes, and I've said this in some of the, even some of the mental health spaces, we think that the cutoff game is always the route to go. It's like, no, some things you got to sit in the face of.
Yeah.
Some things you need to say, I'm not going to retreat because this is threatening me in some kind of way, right? Or and that's just my body trying to keep me alive. Self-preservation trying to keep me alive. And we have the wisdom, definitely have the wisdom. But there's some of these things where it's like you got to walk straight into the face of that fear, and not even so much to say to conquer it, but to let it know you don't run nothing. You don't get to call the shots all the time. I'll consult you even. You know
I'll
what I mean?
consult you
I'll
even.
even consult you a little bit. What are we afraid of? We're afraid that
Mhm.
they're gonna hurt us. Okay, but this is where I now activate my hippocampus, right? That's the rational part of my brain to say to the amygdala that's activated. Sorry, that's mental health words. But where I can say to myself, you're okay.
Mhm.
You actually have you actually have the juice. I was going to say the juice to get you loose, but you actually have what it takes to care for yourself regardless of what happens. Even if what you feared showed up, you have within you the power to kind of
You were born with that,
over. We were born with it.
right?
That resilience, that yeah, all of that. We were born with that bounce back power.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like if we don't walk into those fearful places, we're going to continue to be kind of like subjected to that fear all the time. That's why I say when people get triggered, don't run when you get triggered. If you're triggered, it's activated because it needs to be healed, right? So then you got to be courageous enough to say, I'm going to actually stare this in the face and I'm going to move forward. And as I make that move forward, I have now given myself proof that I ain't no sapsucker, that I can actually
Mm.
take what's being presented before me. And from that, the liberty that we feel in, we call it joy and health. And this, I think it's all synonymous with it's freedom. That's what freedom feels like. That's what liberty feels like. To walk into and know that I can still hold on to myself.
There are 4 stages of the liberation journey, and I think we've kind of started touching on them already. Just just that quickly. They say the first stage is illusion.
Mm,
Um, and it's just we believe that all the problems in our life originate externally, right?
mm,
By thinking this, we empower what's out there to control us, and this is kind of just validating what you just got through saying. Um, Blaming everyone else, everything else is the problem. Scared to
mm.
face, being a sapsucker, like you said, scared to
Oh,
face
sapsucker.
what the problem is, facing our fears. We succumb to believing that we're victims of our circumstances, or that I was just dealt a bad hand in life, or whatever the case may be. So the illusion, and the challenge is for us to move forward, peel those layers back, face our fears, continue on that journey, um, and shed those circumstances have us bound
Mm.
that have us bound, right, in order to search for a journey closer to or towards our liberation.
Mm.
Um, the next one, is a wake up call where you start kind of questioning yourself. Why am I here? Why is this happening? What is this? What's going on? All of those questions, even, what's my purpose? What's my purpose in life? Why I got so many bills? Everything is a question, right? That's still my question, why I got so many bills. But
Me too.
whew, Lord, today. Um, and basically, I think the wake up call is just about dealing with the truth, dealing with our truths,
Hmm.
being vulnerable with ourselves, facing our own concerns. We look to everybody else, or we do this, we carry on in a certain fashion to bury our issues.
Hmm.
Um, and it's obviously no help to us. It's a ginormous hindrance, and it really pushes you further back, right? We suppress things. You try not to think about it. Um, you do all of these things that are not beneficial and not of proper healing practices to you. um, so it's about, again, peeling those layers back, facing your vulnerabilities,
Mm.
looking in the mirror,
Hmm.
right?
Mm. Mm.
Having that hard conversation with yourself and figuring these things out. um, Kind of like a cocoon, right? Going in, what metamorphosis there. What I taught this in school. I gotta remember the little scenario we told the children, but it was a
Mm.
cool little synopsis we have for them as far as metamorphosis and things like that. Um, Stage 3, we often touch on this a lot. Authenticity. Stage 3 is authenticity. Our true colors, our our um, our true empowerment, our true levels of where we are, who we are.
Mm.
Um, Understanding ourselves and be on the same wavelength mentally, probably I would say mentally and spiritually, right? Um, and I like how this little page that I'm following it describes it in this way. Although we're getting glimpses of what feels like to fully stand in our power and about our purpose is still a little bit vague. It's an emotional roller coaster of oscillating between having doubts and full trust in the process that is unfolding.
Mm.
At this stage, we're starting to see some of the results from our inner work. Our approach to life has become more proactive versus reactive. That's huge. In other words, we
Yeah.
take full responsibility
Yeah.
for our own well-being and our choices in life, right? That's authenticity. Um, and I can't even like capitalize on that anymore. I mean, I think that's what um, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Mm.
Um, but your vibe starts with you. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
the last stage is liberation, and we could also probably call that healing, not healed, healing,
Hmm.
because it's a forever journey. Instead of looking for all of these answers outside, for somebody else to fix it or something else to fix it, we start looking inside, listening to our intuition, listening to ourselves, listening to our soul, and acting accordingly.
Hmm.
Um, at the same time, we take these necessary actions to allow things to unfold and flow for us rather than forcing the outcome. Um, So the end result is obviously seeking your freedom, facing your fears, being vulnerable with yourself, the illusion, the wake up call, the authenticity leads you to that liberation, where you feel inspired to create and contribute to the world with your gifts without that doubt, without pointing a finger, without self sabotaging. Um, but adding to that the resiliency, right,
Mm.
and the courage, right. Oh, look at you! Thanks.
We got points. You got to.
Thanks.
So we got to lay it out for the people. I'm taking notes. Queen over there was taking notes. Like,
Hmm.
So I
because we
just
need this.
we need this, right?
Hmm.
And I just
And I
feel
love
like
when you study. I love it. And I know
You
you
know
study
what?
all the time, but I love it. I love the study that she does. I love it.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
that is you too
Professor.
kind,
Don't start calling you professor.
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 Professor?
But I just love it, man. And I am grateful for the thoughts that pop into my mind, or the things that catch my attention and they just resonate.
Hmm.
I'm a
Hmm.
big time thinker, so I have to be I'm learning how to um, decipher and dissect that to where my brain is not always consumed, because it truly is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have learned to start writing things down. I'll table it, put a pin in it or something like that, or create a screen, a different screen and leave it open, just so I can get it out of my brain. And I think that, it's just so much to offer to the world and to the culture. And our folks need this because, we got Project 2025 now. They're going to take this mess, not this mess, but they implementing this mess to take this type of learning, and the learning tools that we had growing up, and even the ones that have been created that are beneficial, you know to people in general. They're trying to cancel these things out. If you guys aren't familiar with Project 2025, look it up. Look it up. It's created and enforced and molded by the Republican Party. So we'll see how things go with this voting process. But depending on who gets in office, Project 2025 will be in effect. And it's basically taking away many, many, many civil rights and civil liberties of the American people, especially people of color in whatever dynamic. So if you're not familiar with it, definitely check it out. But if we have never fought for our liberation as a people or as individuals, now is definitely the time. Freedom, spiritually, emotionally. You got your 4 stages. Make it make sense. Now, this was not a lecture, y'all. Y'all got quiet and everything.
No, this was good. This was a
I
reflection.
just had my little 2 cents because it's been on my spirit. Because my other thought for today,
there was a few $100 you just dropped.
Oh no.
Right.
Because what else was on my mind today was, and then liberation, and it's really actually they're probably equal, but perfect peace, right? And just
Shalom.
Huh?
Shalom. As I would say, that's how it comes.
Right.
Without it, yeah.
Right. That's definitely the end result.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely the end result. But I felt I needed to not scale it back, but not minimize it, but to how to journey to perfect peace.
Precursor to it. Because if we don't have because people are always asking, how do we get to these places? And everybody, right? We talked about before, everybody trying to protect their peace and and this is that and the other. And so having that kind of information as to what it is that I have to happen in me in order to get to that, to get to that space. We're under a lot of pressure. A lot of us, just all the time, from work, anything, work, relationships, just life, politics, religion, all of those things.
Finances.
And people are wondering why, peace isn't possible. Yes, it is possible. But it's like there's I think ways that we have to shape our mind, ways that we have to shape our movement.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like ways that we actually have to move in this world. Is not just how do I survive, like meaning be in survival mode. Because survival mode is not freedom. Survival, living from it is not liberty. So actually really shaping these things within us. Like you said, it got quiet because we're looking at this and seeing, this is coming up in our consciousness. When you speak about this comes up in our consciousness. When it comes up in our consciousness, we have to grab hold and make some type of active reach towards that which comes up, because if you don't, it drops back down and it starts to calcify. And that's literal. Like that's actually not just a what do you call it? What do you call it when you're giving an example? That's actually science too. Dr. Caroline Leaf talks about that a lot. When certain things come up in your unconscious and into your conscious, you have to grab it and do something with it, make active reaches towards it so that it becomes a part of your way of being, so that it becomes a part of your conscious mind. Because otherwise it stays in this non-conscious and we're all still screaming, I want to be free. But not only have we not seen the path to freedom, but we're also just stuck in the other aspects of all that's pressuring us because we don't know how to pull this stuff out of us. So this right here, to me, it kind of gives us a little bit of, it gives us that, I don't even want to call it a roadmap, but in some sense it gives us just kind of something to anchor to kind of pull us from that, where it doesn't just become things we talk about, but something we grab. Because I was thinking about that even with these conversations, and I was saying to my significant other, it's like, I'm tired of having conversations and nothing changes. Conversation after conversation, nothing changed. 9 million podcasts in the world now, and we're talking about, which is good. So it's not saying don't, because we got to talk about it. But if we don't make the active reaches to when this stuff comes up in our consciousness, we just talked about it. but then it drops back down. How many people, as a result of watching this, is actually going to start making steps towards liberty, towards actually being free? How many of y'all going to actually take steps towards taking your clothes off because it's National Nude Day? And not worrying about comfort necessarily and getting into your courage. I mean,
but you know what? That's a whole word though. Taking your clothes off because it's National Nude Day.
Honestly, that's why people laugh, but I'm so serious, and y'all know I'm serious. It is a spiritual practice for me, for what goes on in here, what happens in here, what all of the torment, all of the turmoil, all of the I'm worried,
and that's taking your clothes off. You're shedding literally taking. You're shedding the turmoil, and
I really believe God created us naked for a reason. And I would even say nude, because naked is associated with shame. You say, "Oh, I get caught naked," versus, they're nude. When you look those things up, there's a difference in the way that those words are used, but it all really just represents the ability to be free, to be you as you are. We've added this stuff. These are all additions that we've added that we've become comfortable with.
Because society said.
Exactly. So now this is the standard. All of these cover-ups, all of these masks, all of these whatevers are the cover-up. But we're seeing more people depressed, more people with anxiety, more people not really truly have, a lot of people chasing happiness but never finding joy. And it's because we're covered up. It's all covered up by all of these ways we've been socialized to be. So like this stuff is powerful, man. It's like, and then again, something in us knows it, right? The soul already knows. I say all the time, the soul knows a song our lips have never sung, but it knows it. So then it comes up out of that unconscious place into the conscious place, and we got to grab it. We got to grab hold. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Grab hold. Touch yourself.
Touch yourself. Touch it.
Stand up, friend.
Because I'm participating.
You say because I'm participating.
Oh.
She's making her active reach. Do you hear what I'm saying?
This was good. This was good. And I might have been preaching to the choir. So yes.
The choir needs to hear it. Because I think we all are pressed with it. You know what I mean? Like, shoot. Preach on to the choir.
I think it's been first of all, let me say this, because I'm looking at y'all in the same room. I don't even feel like I'm here. I feel like I'm watching y'all on the show. So I'm a little quiet because I'm watching y'all on the show. But in saying what you just said, I think that's why it's important that we are careful with each step in this process, so that we do not revert backwards to where we're comfortable in bondage, and whatever that is and however that looks like. If you skip a step, if you skip authenticity, you're going back. You're going back. You're gonna have 3-4 wake-up calls. It's gonna have to keep happening. You're gonna be living in this illusion. You're gonna be walking in this and blaming everybody else. If you skip the wake-up call, and missing that vulnerability piece, and asking those questions, then you right back to blaming everybody else and being the victim. And you cannot miss a step in this process. And I think when you were laying them out, I was just looking to see how important they are, and the fact that they're in this order. This is an order for a reason.
For a reason, correct.
For a reason. Even if you get to authenticity and true colors and understanding, you can't stay there.
You can't hold on to it.
You can't stay right there.
Don't tarry long.
I'm real with it. Yeah. And what are you doing? Because where's the healing? Where's the inner work? What is the next thing? What are you doing? It's always a piece. And I'm glad you said healing, not healed. Because it's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong journey, but you cannot miss either of these steps in this process, because you will revert back over and over, back to where you were, back to saying yes to everybody, back to wearing clothes all day, back to, showing up for everybody except you, back to being a doormat. What was the jive turkey? What was the
Sap sucker.
Sapsucker.
sap sucker? You gonna revert back to being a sap sucker if
Jive.
you
This
if
cousins to
you are
Sap.
not
Yeah, they're
They're
if
cousins.
you're
first
not
cousin.
First
following
cousins.
these steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking as they're laid out, and I'm taking notes in each little section. You can't miss one. You
Mm-hmm.
can't.
Mm-hmm. That's what I
It
think
will
a lot
cut
of
off.
people are
It
doing.
will cut off the completion of this circle here.
Yeah. The one of the things that I see people doing a lot of times is that because I was sharing with some clients and stuff that if we approach these things where it's because even in this being an order and being a kind of laid out in this way, the biggest piece of this is being able to realize, like you just said a minute ago, it's in you. You have to find it in you. Otherwise, it just becomes something you check off on the list and you're not going to hold on to it. Right? You're going to do it. It's going to work for a few seconds. And like you saying, Angel, you're going to fall back. Because I think with anything that is really, truly a quality of a quality tool, whatever you want to call it. I always tell people it's like, you're your greatest tool. Right? So you have to find these things in you. Right? Or find the reference for this, the reality of this in you. Because all this means is you're being you. You're not just a human doing, you're a human being. Right? And so we find all of these things within our being and then produce them. You're a being that has the ability to truly see. Right? So to be lost in to only be led through this illusion aspect of things. So taking that number one and kind of looking at it and saying, I was designed to see. I was designed to see clearly. Right. And not to live in this whole illusion of separation. That's what all of this stuff looks like. Right. If I can give you a picture that makes it look like we're separated, you're going to start living like we are. But when I recognize truly and I see things for what it really is, I start to have now the philosophy that we're not separated. We are living in an illusion of separation, right? And so now you're moving yourself into that wake up, and something usually happens, that kind of brings us to we talk about spiritual awakenings, and people get weary in that space because for some reason people think that when they awaken spiritually, that everything is going to be bliss. No, you ain't got there yet. Do you know what I'm saying? You may not even ever get to that place where it's complete bliss. Not as long as we're still living.
It might be darker.
It might even be darker. Yeah, because you're seeing
Because now
things
you
for
can
what it
see.
really is. Yeah, the illusion is gone, right? So you're seeing it for what it really is. Your eyes are clearing. You wake up in the morning, you clean the crust out your eyes. And so there's that wake up. But I always hear, when I hear wake up call, I also hear the mandate. So it's like there's a wake up call.
Right.
But that means that there's something I need to be aligning to.
Your purpose.
There's something, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't have to necessarily just be a tragedy that's happened. I just heard the alarm. Somebody has sounded the alarm. When the alarms go off, we know to align. We know to get to start doing what we need to do, and pulling it from that authentic space and moving on to this is the real experience of liberty, of what liberation is. The word healing means return to wholeness. And we're constantly returning to wholeness. Why? Because something is constantly also trying to pull you away. Our dramas, our traumas, our things that kind of quote unquote that we're having to try to keep our peace from, in regards, constantly pulling us away. There's constantly a separation happening between the fear part of ourselves and this, when I was talking about the amygdala and the hippocampus, the more we lean into that fear piece that you're talking about, if we don't actually liberate and walk into it and we keep running from it, the space between the communication space between that part of your brain that gives you that resilience and all of those things and let you know you're okay, it gets wider and wider and wider and wider. So then now you're stuck in survival mode, living from and in fear, instead of living the way we were designed to live. But when we start now going into that fear and saying, hey, no fear, you can't call the shots, I'm aligning. I see what you're trying to do. I see I'm no longer an illusion. I have this wake up call, meaning something just convicted me to align.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do that alignment just through being fake, phony, this is that. And I'm not going to fake it to I make it. My pastor said, he said, faith it till you make it. Not just fake it till you make it, faith it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start to make that alignment authentically, because that's the only real way to get there. I can act like you said, oh, I'm real. And look at the attitude that they say it with.
Right.
Are you really?
Right.
Is that pride? Or
and
is that
ain't done nothing?
something else? Yeah, but it's like when I authentically find God has given us everything we need in this. When we say true colors, sometimes when you're looking at people and say, oh, I see their true colors now, that ain't their true colors still. That's still them in their fear. That's still them in their fear. That's still them in their need to have to defend themselves. That's them. They are not free, even though they claiming that they, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not real.
Still a representative.
Yeah. And if you're using your freedom to hurt other people, you're not free yet. Real freedom comes with a responsibility and a mandate to be what I authentically am designed to.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Real freedom comes with responsibility and a mandate to be authentically you.
Real freedom comes with responsibility.
I heard Kevin in the back say he got it.
Hey, Sir Isaac Nelson, welcome back. We like it when you join us. Welcome back.
That's another mental health.
We happy to see.
Sir Isaac Nelson.
I know. We happy to see. He be speaking that good. What you got to say?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And that I just think that's really good. What we calling this show? Liberation National New Day Liberation Show. Like, I mean, it's
all of that. All the words.
It's just so powerful, Brysen. I appreciate your brain.
I appreciate yours.
I appreciate you. I just do, y'all. I do. Man.
Glad to be in the number. Glad to be in the number.
Listen, he says clearing the dysmorphia complex. Absolutely. Yeah.
See, he came in hot, running them words.
I love it.
Came in.
Sir Isaac, have you practiced today's National Nude Day? You done got naked? Nope, you done got nude? Not naked. That's associated with shame. You done got nude today? Mentally, spiritually. Mentally, spiritually.
Are you free, Brother Nelson?
Are you free?
Brother Nelson, are you free?
Are you free? Are you free? Wow. And take that with you right there this week. Ask yourself, am I free? If your answer is no, then search your mind, allow your mind to be open. Search your spirit, allow your spirit to be open, to receive whatever it is, because everybody's design is not the same. So whatever it is for you that your spirit and your being needs to make that journey to freedom, to liberation, ask yourself that every day for this week, and see what happens.
I like that.
And see what happens.
What do I need to be free and aligned to my healthiest self?
And while you're doing that, go to angelsimmons.com, read her bio because it's real good. Purchase you a book. And then when you get done looking at her stuff, go to LeAnzarStockley.com, read his bio because it's real good too, and purchase you a book. Oh, that's
Come
it.
on, be ready, man. All right.
We're not on audio like the Queen, but it's there for you.
I thank y'all for y'all beautiful minds.
You're right here now.
And your beautiful faces.
I'm so used to going to the screen like that.
Oh, he's on your homework, right?
I'm so used to going to the screen. She right. I ain't gonna tell you how many times I done looked at this screen and still saw a split, like thinking.
Because it kind of like right, because the plant right here in the back, like it's giving, yeah. I had to catch myself.
And then with Angel's dark piece right there, I was like, oh yeah, we still have the three, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. This was
This
good.
was good, really good.
I thank y'all.
Well, I am very aware that I am not where you are,
Hmm.
and y'all are together, and I am not.
Just get on a plane. Southwest give
They got
they
layaway.
got pay, yeah, they got a layaway now.
Brother Nelson, let him say.
Mm-hmm. I was just talking about that illusion.
Yep.
Mhm.
Come on, get both books, brother.
I love that. We were talking about being able to see early. You can't even see yourself being
Yeah.
free
Very
because
good.
you're living in this illusion. You can't even see yourself. Ooh wee.
That's good stuff.
Mm.
Sir Isaac, we're going to have you on one of these days. We're at the end of the show now, but one of these days you're going to have to pop on screen with us. So
we'll make that happen. I like that idea.
Have to pop on screen with us.
Thank you all for joining the show. If you are so kind, hit share. Tell somebody. And if any of this touched you, walk in it.
Tell us.
Tell us. Tell us.
Tell us.
Absolutely.
I'm out here in Vegas, y'all. I can't let. Oh, here we go. I'm out here in Vegas, y'all. I got to go eat.
This is not AI, and she got to go eat, and so do I. He's open to that.
I think I'll do.
Good, brother.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome.
Right.
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Peace, folks. Peace.